Welcome to Learning Bites, short bites of information you get to apply immediately. We're exploring the Drive sales culture and we're looking at the letter I for Inquire. And what I want to cover off this week is around the questions we ask, particularly when we first get to meet with the customer. So whether it's over the phone or whether you're face-to-face or whether you're doing it over a Zoom meeting, what we want to know is we want to understand the customer. The better you know a customer, the better you can help them, the better you can understand where your product or service will be able to help them to get from where they are to where they want to be. Now, the key element here is not to talk too much. One of the greatest arts of sales is learning how to shut up. Do not talk. Ask a question and then listen. And so what I want to cover off is 7 fundamental laws around questioning and get you to ask every single sales rep if they're applying these laws every single time. It's great to apply it internally as well as externally. Now, these are the 7 laws. So law number 1 is simply this: focus on the customer. Every question you ask must be focused on the customer. Question number 2, or law number 2, is around every question you ask must have a clear purpose. So both parties need to understand why you're asking that question. So if, for argument's sake, you're speaking to somebody and you say, well, how large is your company? That sounds like a relevant question. But if you go, oh, what color is your car? Well, unless you're selling cars, that's not really going to be relevant to that. So the question needs to have a clear purpose. Number 3, every time you ask a question, you must be clear what answer you expect. Now, please, I want to make this probably one of the most important parts of the laws of questioning. When we ask a question, we must listen to understand, not listen to give the answer that we want to give. So we listen to understand. The reason we need to know what answer we're expecting, quite simply, is this. Because the law number 4 says that we must be able to ask a follow-up question. You see, whoever asks the question is in control of the conversation. So when we ask a question, we know that the client's going to say this, 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 or this, and that's going to lead us on to the follow-up question, which is law number 4. Always have a follow-up question. Law number 5 says that we should not ask 2 questions at the same time, because the customer's going to answer either the easiest one or they're not going to answer one of the questions at all. And number 6 says this: ask your questions in a clear and logical sequence. So when you walk in, it's quite appropriate to say, how was your weekend? But if you're halfway through the conversation and in the middle of discussing the intricacies of a product, you say, oh, so how was your weekend? That's just not a logical place to ask that question. Likewise, when we talk about closing a sale, we can say, can I have an order, at the end of the process. But if you walked in and said, oh, hi, can I have an order? It's not appropriate. So logical sequence. Number 7. Please make sure, I know I've already mentioned this, but it's still law number 7, is listen at every point. If you can do those 7 things, you'll be amazed at the impact that it makes on your ability to seek and understand your customers so that you can help them to get what they want and need. Here's to your success. If any of this resonated with you and you'd like some help with it, do feel free to get in touch. Drop me an email at mike@thinkrite.co.nz or 0272 987 523 or our website www.thinkrite.co.nz.